Oh, no. Vinnie Miller in the 0-1, hard into the tire barriers.
Very late on the brake, and they just locked up all four.
Barely on the brake, and they locked up.
I'm going to have to give all the competitors credit. They've done a nice job. I didn't think we would see that many laps without an issue. By himself right here. You see the car sideways. Definitely having trouble on braking. It's just going to go straight at this point. Oh, yeah, you see the front wheels are turned. That's how you can see the right front, and this car is not going to change direction. So you see the front tires are locked up, but the rear tires are not. Can't tell the bitter end.
And caution already, the 60 of Austin Cindric stopped right on the front stretch.
Oh, heavy contact.
Him. Yeah, Spencer Boyd in the 76 avoiding him actually caught the inside wall.
You hear the frustration, you see the frustration, pounding on the steering wheel, screaming on the radio. Two laps complete on a 147 lap race in the 60.
By the driver. There certainly wasn't anything intentional in that situation, but that doesn't help Austin Cindric at all.
We're going to ride on more with the 60. You see clear out front. Has no idea it's coming. It's turned around off turn 4. Pretty solid contact, and now you see why he's so disappointed.
Yeah. Inches, unfortunately, it creates a situation like this at times.
So the frustration definitely on the mind.
Jeske with a big impact.
We got hit.
Hard impact.
Are you kidding me?
He was running 14th.
And this team, I cannot count the number of cars that this team has
The 16 hurt me.
crashed this year. Here it is. There it is. Ryan drives into the right rear quarter panel. Ty was right. Look at that car, that impact. I don't blame him for being upset. He held his line, and Ryan Reed did not hold his line and got into the 60.
You heard him say, "Are you kidding me?"
That's the 11th.
Yeah. So, and that view, it didn't look like the 16 came away from the car that was on the outside, but when we were looking straight on, it did look like he veered to the inside.
Yeah, I think the 16 was just trying to get underneath that lap car.
Track's going to stay cleaner because the lap car's up there, and we got one going around in turn 3 here.
0-1 of Vinnie Miller.
Oh.
And Christopher Bell sideways. He's involved in the crash.
We're destroyed.
Yep.
Same thing as in practice.
Nope.
Wow.
Worse.
That's a lot worse.
All right, 10-4.
You hate that. He was running third.
I know. The cars.
But he said it's just like yesterday in practice, which means he was dealing with brake issues, right? Am I reading
like
that right?
As soon as he hits the brakes, that thing comes right around. And you don't use a whole bunch of brake here at Bristol. I mean, you use some, but not a lot. And, man, once it gets sideways, you're out of control. There's nothing you can do. But, you know, man, it took right off on him.
Extremely loose early on. They're
Too hard into the wall in turn 4. One of those being Ryan Reed in the 16. And a lot of damage to the right front of that car. There's another car right there, the 2 of Matt Tifft. Saw him backed. He's headed the wrong direction right there up against the wall.
We talked about how slick this racetrack is, and Matt Tifft gets loose and just loses the car, and Ryan Reed comes in and hits him. And look at those 2 impacts. Just solid side impact, Steve.
Yeah, and that angle, you're going to see this 16 right here. It doesn't really get turned enough to hit with the front of the car that sometimes can crumple up and actually absorb some impact. That's right with the door. I'm fortunate enough to never been able to take one of those rides, but I've had
hard into the wall already. The 7 and the 20, 2 of the main contenders for the championship.
And Cole Custer, Cindric.
Allgaier got loose, got into the back of the 20. Allgaier into the wall. The 20 also major damage. Didn't even get through turn 2.
Here's a replay right here. 7 and the 20, side by side. The 7 just gets loose, goes up the track, makes contact with Christopher Bell. Bell backs it in the wall. Look at that hard contact for the 22.
Oh, an absolute nightmare for the playoff contenders.
This is the danger. You know, both of these guys qualified well. They were right near each other, so when something happens, they take each other. But now an opportunity has been created for other people that needed a little bit of help. Let's see if they can take advantage of this. I mean, this is the last round with a shot to win a championship, and on the first lap, you get in a wreck.
First turns. They couldn't even get through turn 2. And
out into the lead, and now is a hornet's nest behind him. Here's Christopher Bell to the inside of Justin Allgaier. Look out, Ryan Preece is around. He'll hook the mud. Oh, what a hellacious spin to the inside of turn number 2. Ryan Preece going for a wild ride off the second corner.
And then right here, it's just real estate. He needs more real estate, and that tire is there for a reason. You see the other option was the end of a wall, even with safer barriers. That's tough when you look at facilities that are used for multiple reasons. There's entries and exits with road courses and such. I'm not exactly sure what comes off from turn 2 over there. But if you look, both cars are loose. I mean, right there, the 42 wiggles, but there's no contact. You have to ask yourself, these cars are creating a huge wake. Think of a boat. They're not driving canoes. They're driving like Freightliners, big cargo ships. The wakes off these things are unbelievable. That's why the draft works. That's why the race is what you are seeing today with this drafting and the passing. The negative to that is when you
won a points-paying race at Daytona. He's won a pair of
Gatorade trouble means straightaway. Cole Custer gets turned. 4 wide. They race through the straightaway. Ryan Reed and others, Josh Williams involved. It started with a 4 wide move coming into the tri-oval, and right now, cars crashing and colliding, coming through the tri-oval. Wow, we saw that one coming out of turn number 4, and right now, Kurt, we have about a dozen cars swung to the high side of the racetrack. Ryan Reed got put 4 wide, second from the bottom, and then that's when the crashing and colliding began. Josh Williams into the wall. Looked like you had Jeff Green involved in this, Cole Custer, you had Ryan Sieg, also Ryan Reed, and that's when the crashing began just outside the top 10. Alex LeBay got clipped as well, heading off into turn number 4 wide going into the tri-oval does not work. Looked like Jeff Green clipped Cole Custer into the Josh Williams car, who was having a career night here in Daytona. Obviously, it was not meant to be for him to reach the end of this race, but as you get down to the nitty-gritty in Daytona, we talked when we opened up the broadcast, this trophy means everything. And
back down, they block. The 60 goes around. Briscoe hard into the wall. And the window net coming down. He sees the flames coming out in the engine, and Briscoe.
Yeah, this is going to show you just how hard this impact was.
Oh. That's something the tracks have to continue to look at. How can we get?
And we'll set up yet another restart.
There's absolutely nothing he could have done differently there. Oh, gosh.
Thankfully, the safer barriers were there to absorb some of that hit. But this is, once again, will remind you, such a dangerous sport. Thousandths of a second.
Elliott Sadler, big run right there. You saw what he did.
Oh, around goes the 60. Austin Cindric wrecking in front of the crowd. Daniel Hemrick's caught up. Tyler Reddick, Cindric, barrel rolls.
And when you're done, top one.
Lands back on his wheels.
Okay, Matt Tiff trying to make a lot happen.
Up the racetrack a little bit. Matt Tiff's going to try to drive in there to get to his inside, and they just got together. 60 of Austin Cindric just wasn't on the very bottom of the racetrack. Opened up a little bit of hole that Matt Tiff you thought was there, and then you see right here the contact with Reddick. Started Cindric's flipping. That's very unusual to see a car flip that late after. You'll see right there, there's a little bit of a hole. It looks like he has room to go to the bottom. And when he went to go, it just closed up. And, you know, we always like to point a finger and say, this guy messed up or that guy messed up. And many times it's just racing. I mean,
you try to slow down,
without locking down the front tires and sliding into the crash. Wild action under red flag. We'll be right back.